Hey guys, it's been a while since I've done an update on Snooze, but this is going to be my last update on her until I post my classes for the makeover. And this is that footage that I forgot to include when we were in Wisconsin, so I'm going to add this in right here. This was just a good little training ride that I had on her. So, because it's been pretty hard with all the traveling to have a consistent training schedule with her, I just try to ride as often as I can, and honestly, I just filmed for the makeover, but probably the 2 weeks leading up to it, she maybe was ridden like once. But you can tell she's getting a lot more stretchy through her neck and kind of using her back as she's going around now. I know I did put these clips in her auction video because I had to have some sort of riding in there, but I haven't put them in one of my YouTube videos yet, and I just thought it's kind of cool to see the improvement of her, how she's starting to carry herself a little better, her transitions are cleaner. She's starting to look like a little bit of a more put together horse. And of course all the traveling is helping her get used to being anywhere. It was a pretty good rollback. And after Wisconsin, we went to Tennessee, which I also included in that last video, but I didn't have any clips from there. It was just the day that I got there. And I'm at Alyssa Renovo's place. And she had this obstacle course set up because we were doing a clinic here this weekend. So I just kind of messed around with Snooze on some of the obstacles. I was trying to get her to stop right in between the tires there, just off of a vocal cue. It's just really nice to see how calm and relaxed she is with everything. She's really good at thinking it through, and as long as you don't push her super hard, she pretty much figures everything out. Getting her to trot through the noodles. I know she hasn't done something like this until now, one of the merry-go-round obstacles. And then after day 2 of the clinic, right before I had to go to get to North Carolina, I just wanted to see how she was going around Bridleless, because I haven't really done too much Bridleless work with her. I maybe have ridden her Bridleless like twice in Montana and maybe 1 or 2 other times after then. So I just wanted to see where our control was at. I was pretty much able to get her to go through everything and keep a good amount of straightness in her body. I'm kind of sad that this is going to be my last update with her, really. I might post one more video besides her class videos and her journey video, but that would probably just be leading up to how I did my classes or something like that. And now we are loading up right after the clinic ended to head to North Carolina, where I have a clinic the next day. I kind of planned this out poorly. I got in super late. I even slept in my truck, and then my horses had to get loaded up to go teach a clinic the next day, probably about 20 minutes away from where we stay in North Carolina. So then after that, I figured I should probably get Snooze some sort of care because of all the traveling she's been doing, and I figured it couldn't hurt to have some shockwave treatment done. Snooze is getting a treatment right now from Courtney, who actually won the, which year?
2019.
Kentucky Mustang Makeover. And if you want to just talk a little bit about what this whole deal is, what it helps with.
Yeah, so this is PEMF therapy, pulse therapy, and that stands for pulse electromagnetic field therapy. And what it does is it works on the cellular level on horses, people, dogs, cats, and helps increase circulation, decrease any inflammation. It helps improve performance, mobility, overall wellness.
No, cheater. Snooze.
Overall, it just helps create a very physically apt horse to go around and do exactly what we need it to do, is just perform at its best. This is a wonderful therapy for horses that are very active in the show community, trail community, a retired horse that just needs some extra care and help with any inflammation due to arthritis, horses that have been injured in any sort of way. It helps increase the or decrease the healing time. That way you can get back to riding your horse soon again and back soon.
So it's really good for like
Everything.
a lot of horses, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see like the pulsing. Hang on, Snooze. She's bugged by the flies right now.
There we go.
Yeah, you can really see it right there.
And so all these pulses, these are your cells that are getting pulsed. And if you notice, it pulses more on her right side than her left. That just means those cells need a little more charge. They're working a little bit harder, or at some point in her life, she might have injured herself, you know, being out in the wild, and just needs some help relaxing those muscles and keeping them strong. So this is great when you're training a horse, making sure that with all the extra work and physical activity that they've added to their life, that they can actually keep up with it and are able to do it. So it is great for all stages of equine, whether they're, you know, yearlings, 4-year-olds, 20-year-olds.
Right.
They can all benefit from it. We had a horse fall out on trail and pulsed it, and 24 hours later, all the wounds you could see were actively healing quicker than they would have if we hadn't have started pulsing. The horse was also not nearly as stiff after his pulse session. So horses that are going on long trailer rides or are stuck in a stall for whatever reason, health or injury, pulsing them will help relax their muscles and keep them feeling good.
Yeah. And she's been going for what, 30, 35 ish minutes, and she goes through phases of like falling asleep to it, to
eating,
to eating, to feeling the feeling it a little bit more.
And that's what we want. We want to be able to see that they're pulsing, but we also want to see that they're releasing and relaxing and being receptive, just like that. All the munching. She's given great yawns.
And you go around and do this with horses, different client horses and everything.
And I travel all over North Carolina. I have gone up into Virginia and pulsed a little bit, as well as South Carolina. And you know, it will be going throughout the country later on, but I sit at horse shows all the time, travel to different show barns, trail barns, there we go. And hitting everyone, usually about on a monthly basis. We get all the horses pulsed. And even it's one of those things, if you can't even get it once a month,
just whenever you can, it'll help your horse.
Do it if you can.
After I had Courtney out, I also had the farrier out to give her her last trim before she went through the auction. And she was really good to have all 4 feet done. She just got a trim, no shoes or anything. And then I actually ended up leaving her for about 5 days in North Carolina when I went back to Tennessee to help a friend at a horse show. So she got to have some downtime and just hang out, and you know, it downpoured most of the time. But she had a nice little covered area to stay in. And when I got back, the first thing I wanted to do with her was work on some Liberty. And you're going to see that there's a couple moments where it's absolutely not always perfect in here. She leaves a couple times. We're still working on it. Again, we haven't worked too much on Liberty, just a few sessions here and there. But I'm really wanting her to understand draw and circling and maybe even get a little bit of bend. So I'm just going to reward for a few really small tries, and I would love to make a new updated how to do Liberty video, because I have a few more exercises that I don't really talk about that I found really useful. But this is still one of the first like 10 sessions at Liberty for Snooze. There we tried to do a reverse switch and she was like, I'm not really sure what we're doing, so I'm just going to try to encourage her to come back in. And then with Snooze, I have started using positive reinforcement. If you notice, I bring my hand to her and kind of make her tuck her head in a little bit. I'll have to make another video on that one day, how I've started to use some positive reinforcement in some of my Liberty and trick training. So here I just really broke down that reverse switch for her and went a lot slower, kind of waited for her and encouraged her forward to get that draw. And the biggest thing is if you have a horse struggling with something, as soon as they do it, you want to reward them as fast as possible. That way they understand that that's what you're looking for, and it gets a lot less confusing for them. So after North Carolina, I had to go up to Maryland for a clinic, and if you maybe recognize the horse that I'm on, just comment below. And in front of me is Snooze. So we just got done with a really good ride in the arena, just kind of hacking them around. Absolutely love coming to Maryland. It's always so beautiful there. And of course I get to see the horse that I'm on right now. But yeah, Snooze actually got ridden English today. She was a really cute little dressage pony. And it was her first time on cross ties. Of course she did. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then after Maryland, I didn't get a loading up video, but then we had to go up to Massachusetts for clinics. So you can see Snooze is pretty comfortable in any turnout space. There she was just in a stall with a runout shed, and in Maryland she was in just a stall, and she's pretty good with other people riding her. So this is my friend just kind of hacking her around a little bit. Yeah, I just wanted to get this video out here because I know I've been slacking on that. I've been trying to really get my makeover videos filmed, but I do want to make sure that I still get my normal videos out for you guys. But I'm really glad to be able to share her progress and her journey with you all. And let me know if you have any questions, comment them below. I have a couple video ideas that I'm hoping to film, but again, I'm just trying to find that time. Thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting Snooze's journey.